I want to ask, how has investing been for you?
Oh man, I'm letting go of my last property actually. It's
Eh,
been 3 years into investing to my first property,
eh.
and it's been a rewarding process. There's definitely a lot of life lessons, not not only in business but also communication. I
eh.
learned a whole lot about it. Because having to own your own property and manage tenants, a lot of people are kind of worried about managing tenants, and ultimately, it's not that bad at all. I mean, it's almost like being so almost it's also it's like owning a company and taking care of your employees. So it's the same concept. Starting out in real estate, I was investing property. 'Cause one day my job shut down. My my school went online at the time where I was figuring out where I want to go with my college career. And then one day my brother just came up to me and asked me like, "Dude, I'm starting this investing class. You want to join?" So that's where it all started. So we bought a bunch of properties in a few months, and then as years passed by, we started selling them. We flipped one of them, and now we're selling our last property. And you understand the fundamentals of not only investing in properties, but also using creative financing
Eh,
to buy these properties. Because one thing I can tell you, for 90% of these properties, I didn't use my money.
eh.
Gotcha.
Let's hear a little bit
Yep.
more. No, no, you
Um,
can't stop there. You can't leave
I
us on the cliffhanger.
I was just gonna talk about that. A lot of our listeners are probably trying to get in that same process of investing into real estate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Talk about that first experience, that first property that you got. What was the process like? What are some of the challenges that you faced along the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
and how did you bounce back from that?
Oh man, totally. So starting out fresh out of school, really, and now having a job, we're just new people in real estate. You know? So we're beginners. We didn't know any better. Having to have a coach figured out that process helped a lot because every success of life, every successful they look back on, they have someone that was guiding them throughout the way. And so our coach was someone who was buying 40 to 50 properties a year. You
Wow.
know, they were big investments. And buying a first property required us to earn the money that we didn't have initially, right? So yeah, that was one that was one of the few things that was hindering us from buying our first property. So how are we going to get the money to buy this? And our coach taught us that you can leverage people by using their money as down payment to buy your property for a return of their money. And so it always boils down to the property because if it makes sense, you're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract the right buyer for that property. It always boils down to the property that you have. So we work backwards, right? While we have the property, okay, now we can digest, we can dissect how much the property costs to renovate and what's the after return value. We come into these properties to understanding that we already have an exit plan, which is either refinance or selling it. Because if you know that a property is going to be worth more in the future, it will only make sense for you to buy it now, right? If you had a choice between buying an iPhone for 1,000 versus 1,500 next year, that's a no-brainer. You're going to buy it now and make $500 a year from now. And then by earning this money, if we didn't have any, we were reaching out to families and friends and really anybody in their phone and ask if they would invest money, a return of their money for giving out a bunch of money. We got people who invested over 50, 20 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, but initially we were contacting our friends and family and people would give us $1,000, $2,000, 4,000.
It goes a long
So we
way.
kind of scaled our way to that eventually. because as you build a track record, it's getting easier for you to not want to convince people, but present the idea in a clear sense, right?
Yeah.
And by that time, we had experience. It was easier for us to explain to people that this can work. Right? And it's like